the best of me. I'm only one, but not alone. My finest day is yet unknown. I broke my...
And welcome to Insight. Well, today we're going to be talking about strategies for success. And I have an expert here. Her name is Elinor Stutz. Hi, Elinor.
Hi, Ethel.
Thank you so much for taking your time out to come to our show.
It's an honor to be here, and I appreciate your having me today.
Yes. Now, Elinor, I had read your book about sales, and I think this show is going to really help the people out there that are afraid to go out and ask and don't want to hear no, afraid of no. So today we're going to be talking, well, first of all, before we get to that, tell us a little bit about your background.
I'd be happy to, and the whole point of my business is to help those who are a little bit timid about selling, to show them how easy it really can be. Mm-hmm. I was a stay-at-home wife. For 15 years, I had children, and as they were growing, we knew we would need some extra college money, and I needed to go back to work. And I had no idea what to do. So my husband did some research, and he came back one night. He said, "I have it, Elinor. You have the personality of a salesperson." I whipped around and looked at him with a serious face, and I asked, "Is that a compliment or an insult?" And he pointed me to selling copiers door to door. Well, that was a very tough environment. Mm-hmm. And that's where I learned that you have to believe you can succeed in something and stick to your guns, that you're going to do it no matter what's thrown at you, because it was against all odds that I ever made that.
Yeah, you can't give up, especially in sales.
No.
And you can't allow no. If they say no, you have to keep going and keep coming back.
You have to keep coming back. And what I tell my clients is, the first thing that you need to ask when someone tells you no is ask why. What has been your experience? You have to understand what the underlying reasons are. And it depends where no is in the sales cycle. I was so green when I started out, I didn't even know there was a sales cycle. So let me tell you a little bit about this, because it's kind of comical. I went into this horrible environment where the manager was furious I was hired, told all the men not to talk to me, never sold before, didn't know there was a sales cycle, knew nothing about copiers, and I didn't know how to do my job. By the 4th month, I was the top rep. The 5th month, I was the top rep. And this one man broke the ice and said, "Elinor, you still know nothing about selling. How is it you're outselling all of us?" I said, "I do one thing none of you do. I'm actually nice to my clients." My clients used to hug me and say, "I'm a breath of fresh air," because I used to sit and listen. I didn't know what I was doing, so I asked questions. I clarified what they said and listened very carefully on how I could help them. That's the entire secret to successful selling.
Yeah. That way you listen and you know what they want.
That's right.
Yeah.
And what they need.
And I was reading in your book about they called you the bulldozer.
I didn't even know that. A couple years later, when someone was going out the door, he said, "I give up. I can't sell against you." What happened was my company was bought out, as were a couple other dealerships, and so we were all competing against each other. And he said, "Yeah, everyone calls you the bulldozer." I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Because no matter where we go, you've always beat us to that doorstep." I used to go from one end of the territory all the way through the other end, not missing a beat. And nobody could compete with that.
Okay, so tell us some of your techniques on closing.
On closing. Everyone asks about that first, so I address that first in my book. Dale Carnegie put it best. It's simply the end of a conversation, concluding a conversation. To me, closing sounds like you're shutting the doors. It's the end. But to me, it's the beginning of a wonderful relationship where you're going to get repeat business, referrals, and testimonials from your nice new clients. So if you did your homework properly, found out what your client needed, what their problems are, why you were there in the first place, and how you could help them even further beyond their expectations, then all you need to do at the end is ask, when would you like to get started? If you take a deposit, say, all I need is a deposit for $750,000, whatever the case may be, they're ready to move along with you because you did all the steps in order.
So how do you turn a no into a yes?
I ask why, what their history has been, why they think that. And if I believe that they weren't treated correctly previously, or there was some misunderstanding because I took the time to find out, I can turn it around, asking them, what if this occurred? What if I could do this for you? And they begin to see it from the other point of view, from my point of view. And I can draw the picture of how it would be in the future if they were to work with me, and ask them if they would like to work with me. And that's how you begin to turn it around. No can mean not now. It's not in the budget. I have to budget for it, but maybe down the road. It can mean not ever, get out of here and never come back. Or it can mean that another vendor can do it better, more quickly, more cheaply. So you have to find out what the reasoning is, and then you can work with it.
Okay. Then what about attitude? Because it may have been the person's attitude, don't you think? Or body language?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. You have to watch when people speak to you, how they're taking in your information, when they talk, where their passion lies, when they're excited, and pick up on that excitement. If you see somebody lean back or an eyebrow go up, stop and ask, do you have a question? Did I say something that's not quite right to you? How can I help you? And really understand their point of view first. And once you have all the questions out, you can match what it is you have to offer and then bring them to a better place.
So then before you go out, maybe you should check yourself, your attitude, how you look. Even dress makes a difference too.
You have to be professional in every sense of the word. Invest in your wardrobe. If you're a woman, invest in your makeup and perhaps get a nice piece of jewelry. And really look professional. For me, I had to take a public speaking class. I was so nervous if I had to talk to an executive that I found it necessary to take a public speaking class. And that helped me tremendously. I made tremendous strides from that, and now I speak at conferences.
Yes.
And so professionalism, wherever you see that you need help, go out and get it so that you can become an all-around skilled business person. And that's where your professionalism comes out. So whatever scares you the most, go out and get help on that first.
Mm-hmm. And so you wrote the book, Nice Girls Do Get the Sale.
Nice girls do get the sale, absolutely, every single time. Makes all the difference in the world. I once had a client, she still didn't know she could trust me. She asked me to take a Saturday off, bring my husband, and drive 45 minutes to the other side of town. Had to drop everything we were doing on that Saturday to do this for her. But I remembered to take a homemade banana bread that was in the freezer. By the time we got there, it defrosted. And she was amazed that even though she interrupted our weekend, that I thought to bring something nice to her because I was a guest in her home from that point forward. And that got me the sale.